Welcome back, everybody. Another week of Yards After the Catch podcast. It's me and Brian tonight. We got our buddy Bars coming in mid-show, so stay tuned for that. How we doing, Brian?
Pretty good, happy holidays. Christmas is around the corner now, Christmas Eve
Yes,
tomorrow. So excited for a good slot of NFL this holiday season, and can't wait to see the playoff picture unfold.
100%. Merry Christmas, you filthy animals, you degenerate gamblers out there. We love you. Thank you for tuning back into the show. We appreciate your support. While you're at it, make sure to like and subscribe. It helps the podcast. We got a lot of cool things coming up in 2026 regarding content, all kinds of playoff predictions. You're not gonna want to miss it. So we appreciate all the love and you guys riding with us week to week. We have so much fun on this show. So thank you guys for watching. We'll jump right into it. It was a busy week 16. I want to rewind back to Thursday where we had an absolute banger in the NFC West. Los Angeles Rams going up to Seattle. Revenge game for the Seahawks. Rams jump out to a big lead, but the Seattle Seahawks come back with a vengeance. They score, I believe, 14 unanswered. 14 or 17 unanswered. I think it was 14
I think
unanswered.
it's seven. Yeah, I think 14.
Anyway, they rally back. They tie it up. It goes into overtime, and they go for it all on a touchdown. And Seattle's back in the driver's seat, back in the catbird seat. It looks like it's their division to lose. But Brian, let me know your thoughts. How exciting was this game?
I think this was the game of the year for me, at least. It's very rare that a perfect game offensively occurs and they still lose the game in regards to the Rams. Kudos to Matt Stafford bowling out as usual.
Yeah,
Their run game is sound now with Williams and Corum as a duo. It was originally just more of Williams as an RB1, and now we're seeing 1A, 1B, and they're both putting up solid numbers. And obviously, the receiving core is sensational. Puka Nacua going 12 for 225 and two touchdowns, right? In the absence of Devontae Adams. Seattle, though, it's their defense. The Legion of Boom is back. I don't know if they have a new name for it yet, but we'll have to figure it out by the next podcast. But they're back. That defense is bended this week, but it didn't break. And when they needed it most in, the third or fourth quarter, they held it down and, they surmounted this great comeback. And then, Sam Darnold throwing interceptions, almost throwing a third and fourth throughout the game, continued, though, to step in and make plays. And it's a good story to see with Sam. He's the first quarterback, I believe, in NFL history to go back to back 12-win seasons with two different teams.
amazing.
He's winning and he's beating out his previous pedigree of being this, loser with the New York Jets. So this team's ready. Seattle's become my Super Bowl favorite now after this game. I was originally the Rams, but I just think the defense is stronger and more sound, and their head coach should be up for Coach of the Year, and I'm riding with him.
Yeah, all great stuff. I mean, certainly it was certainly not a defensive battle. I mean, these teams combined for well over 960 yards total
Mm-hmm.
combined. It was one of those games that feels like that proverbial, the one we always harken back to, that Monday night between KC and the Rams in the Coliseum. It was kind of one of those games on full display where there was just fireworks everywhere. But you got a little bit of both. Just to correct the record, I know it was 16 unanswered by Seattle that rallied in that fourth quarter. Absolutely amazing. Truly great stuff. And you got to tip your hat to Michael McDonald. He's really pulling apart now for our Coach of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
He's starting to put himself in that class with Vrabel, and with Duval in Jacksonville. I think he's really got a case. I think those three guys really have to be the front runners at this point. And it was just a really phenomenal game. The Rams got home a few times. That defense did really show up, but Darnold rallied back, and I think this was a signature game that he needed. Something that
Mm-hmm.
kind of one of those that he could hang his hat on going into the playoffs. And it was just a really impressive win all around.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But we'll move on. Another important divisional game we had in the NFC, Green Bay and Chicago. Saturday night, it was an absolute banger, right down to overtime again, similar to Seattle and the Rams. This time, Chicago gets their revenge game here. There in the Windy City. They win 22-16 on a bomb from Caleb Williams in the end zone to DJ Moore. Absolute
Mm-hmm.
unbelievable Madden stuff. He's the real deal. I know he's been kind of the butt of the joke the past couple years online, but this team is winning. They're red hot with him and Ben Johnson. What did you think of this win and their position in the NFC North now?
You know, this team is all about Ben Johnson, Ben Johnson's culture, Ben Johnson's plays. Wherever this team goes, as far as the coach goes, and it's one of those expendable rosters, I would say, where he just needs his kind of type of player, gadget guys that you could plug in and they just make the play. They're interchangeable guys like DJ Moore who haven't having good seasons. I mean, great season, but good seasons could be plugged in a wide receiver one role with the Dunze out and immediately going 5 for 97 with that winning touchdown, right? Caleb Williams still really having a good season, not a great season. Was close to being 50% completion rate again this game, going 19 to 34.
Mhm.
It's still the growing pains, but you're seeing an 11-4 record with a quarterback that's still really not completing a lot of passes per the NFL standard, which I find is amazing. It's a testament to the coaching. But their strength will always be their run game. 26 carries, buck 50.
Yeah.
This team reminds you of honestly Detroit Lions with a good defense. The defense is sensational here in Chicago. Nashawn Wright is playing lights out at cornerback. And then when you look at the flip side with Green Bay, you see the injury to Jordan Love. Obviously, with the concussion, how long is that going to play in? Especially now in the next week where they're at the 7th seed right now, fighting out for Detroit, to actually make the playoffs now at the 7th seed. This is going to become a little tricky. But Malik Willis steps in yet again, and has a solid game, 9 of 11, 121 and a touchdown, even in a loss. QB rating of 142.8. Next season, I wouldn't be shocked if he gets, a little QB competition at another team, as he continues to step in for injured player and injured quarterbacks and make some decent play. Green
Mhm.
Bay, though, Josh Jacobs is hurt, and they keep on trying to rush him back. I understand, he's the number one guy, but it's starting to look like he might need some rest if you're going to make the playoff run. Unfortunately, as a result of the schedule now, he has no choice but to play. But I think hindsight, maybe a little rest on that knee injury would have been a little helpful because Emmanuel Wilson, his backup, is playing phenomenal in his place when he gets the touches at 14-82. So, great battle, great overtime win. That throw and catch was amazing. But the Bears are looking a little more well rounded just on the in the health standpoint right now that I have them over the Packers.
Yeah, 100%. And you alluded to the discrepancy between Detroit on their tail now, the injury starting to mount up for Green Bay, the uncertainty with Jordan Love moving forward. I think Green Bay's what game and a half up on Detroit in that well.
Yeah, they're 9-9, 5-1, and I believe Detroit's 8-7.
Yeah, so it's one of those where every game matters. They got to play Baltimore still.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge game on the schedule, and I just think that this league changes so quickly week to week. Some of these games are really gut punches. They're really momentum builders or breakers.
Absolutely.
And this felt like a game that Chicago desperately needed, but I think also Green Bay needed to come out in a different fashion. And
Yeah.
I think that this was kind of a gut wrenching kind of way to end things. With that being said, I mean the window's not closed. Of course, there's a couple weeks left to play, and they're crucial. I think they really do need that. They really need to open up that offense. With having a healthy Jacobs back, he's kind of
Mm-hmm.
and he's the X factor to spreading the field open. I know they have a plethora of great receivers, and that's all fine and dandy. But I think that he's really the engine that makes that thing go. And
Absolutely.
saw it in Oakland display for a long time, which I'm still upset about.
I would say this also, yeah, for Chicago, this was a must win because you're playing the 49ers and the Lions back to back weeks now to end the season,
Yeah,
right? So,
yeah,
like, this easily, could be a split, 1-1 where you're going in 11-5. For seeding, it's very important that, they got this win. So, kudos to them.
yeah. Great point. Absolutely. I do want to move to another division in the NFC with heavy consequences. Carolina and Tampa Bay. My. This shit heap of a division just continues to keep getting juicier and juicier.
How
Tampa
the
Bay,
mighty have fallen.
how the mighty have fallen. Yeah, talk about. I'll take Red Hot Baker in the first 8 weeks of the season over anything else. Forget
Wow.
after that, sell your stock. I'm sorry, sell your stock. I know he's hurt, but we'll get into it. Yeah, so Carolina was the 1 o'clock slot. Tampa Bay goes into Carolina, almost comes out with a win, but not quite getting there. Carolina moves to 8-7. They take control of the division, courtesy of this defense. And what a fall from grace, as we talked about with Baker. It's hard to watch whether you're rooting for him or you're against him. You don't want to see things go down this way in the league. It's tough to watch, but you got to be excited for the Panthers. As it stands, they are the leaders in the NFC South with 2 weeks to go. They still have to play Tampa week 18. What were your thoughts on this game, Brian?
It's disappointing to see the fall of Tampa just because I'm a huge Baker Mayfield fan and he really played well the first 8 weeks, almost to the point that he was getting into the shadows of the MVP conversation, right? The way he was carrying that team with the injuries. Now, with the injuries back, you know, a lot of it on me, it falls a little bit on him. He hasn't played his best, but I think a lot of it, though, is just the offensive coordinator with the lack of identity and the play calling here with the last few weeks, as well as the head coaching decisions with Todd Bowles. I think Todd Bowles is playing his way out of Tampa right now, to the point that he's going to get fired at the end of the season. Because after winning the Super Bowl, with Tom Brady a few years ago, that's what this team was, and a lot of the pieces really haven't changed. Besides Brady and Gronk and Antonio Brown, and good riddance to him. But there's still a lot of the original pieces there. I mean, obviously the wide receiver room was riddled with injuries this season, but it just seems that they just all didn't get on the same page this year. I think there might need to be some changes, bring in some fresh new guys. The coordinator's been okay. They definitely miss Cohen, being in Jacksonville now, but we'll see what happens with them. With Carolina, Bryce Young's coming of age is week to week watching before our eyes. I remember early in the season we were like, oh, we don't know what's going to shake out, and now he's
No,
21-9 TD to interception ratio. He's
great.
still not throwing a lot, and I think that's just a product of the offensive scheme where
Yeah.
they're run heavy. He's going to have low 3,000s, if that. I think he's at 2,600 passing yards right now. So, you know, I wouldn't. This is growing. If they make the playoffs, they're ahead of schedule. The next season, bring in some more weapons and build upon that. I'm excited to see this team grow.
Oh, me too, 100%. They're very exciting. You got pieces on both sides of the ball. I love what they're doing on offense. They're doing, everything they can do with Brent. It's offensive, and I think that they're an exciting team. They leave sometimes they leave things to be desired on the table, but other weeks they
Hmm.
blow your mind. They beat, a Rams or they beat Tampa, and they
Yeah,
just yeah, they're just really exciting to watch. And it's been a long time. It's probably been since what, 2015, since
yeah,
Pick-Em was there that they went to the Super Bowl. So yeah. Also noteworthy, they do have to play Seattle next week, and Tampa plays Miami. Let's say Tampa wins and Carolina loses. It comes down once again to week 18. And
yeah.
these teams have to meet again in Tampa Bay. That is going to be must-watch TV for the division.
Absolutely.
I'm very excited about it. And yeah, so we'll keep an eye on that division. Again, these 2 weeks are very consequential. It's exactly what the league wants and loves. It's huge ratings, especially in this
Yeah,
season. So we'll be there every step of the way with coverage.
yeah.
But with that being said, there's another team in Florida that went up to the Mile High Club. Jacksonville goes into Denver. I think some of us called this upset. But Jags go in and win 34-20. Absolutely huge win for Duvall and the Jags. This was a huge game for them, especially controlling pace in the AFC South.
Mhm.
With Houston red hot on their heels. What were your initial thoughts and takeaways from this game? And where do you see Jacksonville's ceiling right now?
The sky's the limit for Jacksonville right now. Duval County is turning up right now with this team.
Turn it up.
Turning up, man. They had a cookout right now down in the bayou of Jacksonville, having fun right now. The team's well rounded. They have a plethora of wide receivers step up consistently. Like Parker Washington's a wide receiver through, and he put up 6 for 145 and a touchdown. In a statement win. That just shows you that everyone's buying in, to this culture that Cohen's putting in here.
Yeah.
And kudos to that. Trevor's playing great. He was a little rocky in the beginning of the season, but since, midway, he's really playing lights out. ETN's back to old form. The defense is playing well. So this is a team that could definitely make a deep playoff push. I want to see it happen. This would be the next step for them. Denver, I kept on saying they're pretenders, they're pretenders, they're pretenders. And it's what I feel with them. I just don't see, I don't know. Bo Nix, I just need to see more. He put up 352 and a loss of passing yards, but I'm just not seeing, that killer instinct that I want to be seeing from a quarterback at this point in the season. And, it just feels like the offense is a little lackadaisical at times. And then the defense has been letting up as well as of late too. So they're very wishy washy. They're going to be one of these teams where if they get the home field advantage, for the playoffs, it's like what do you get after that? Based on seeding, they're
Uh,
very flip of a coin kind of team right now, and it's interesting to see. I still think that they could make a deep run, but it just really depends on how they feel. To be honest, they're a moody team. That's the way it feels.
yeah. Well, first of all, I want to just kind of go in order. So I want to give Trevor Lawrence his flowers because we were kind of shitting on him early in the year. We weren't
Yeah.
sure about what their product was that Duval was putting out there. But he went 23 of 36. Perfect touchdown to interception ratio. They got home on him 5 times, but he bounced back. He was resilient. Had a 115 QBR, which was very impressive as well. He was upright the entire day. Played clean in the pocket. Like I said, they put up 34 on the top rated defense outside of Houston, which is very impressive. I do have to disagree with your analysis on Denver, and I hate defending another AFC West team because I hate the Broncos, but I just think that this was a natural kind of trap game for them to regress. They won 11 straight. I'm not going to put too much stock in them losing to a good Jacksonville team. I take more away from the quality win that Jacksonville put up because they're a warm weather team going north and
Yeah.
going into an environment that's hard to put up points in and is cold. It's setting the tone for a playoff picture where they may have to host and then go on the road in the second round. So, with that being said, I was very impressed with Jacksonville. I think it said more about them than it did with the Broncos, with them dropping a game this weekend, because I just think it's more has to do with less about Bo Nix. I understand there's a lot to be desired with him, and some weeks he looks like Josh Allen, and some weeks he looks like Tua. It's really hard to
Yeah.
kind of get a gauge on, but I think a lot of it is a product of Sean Payton and what he wants to operate as his offense. I think that
Mm.
he's kind of the vessel for which he's going to put that offense into motion is Bo Nix. So I think it's more
Yeah.
a product of that it happens. But I mean, Jacksonville was just impressive. I mean, they won time of possession by almost 7 minutes. They really didn't have a running game to really lean on. I thought that Denver really stepped up and cleaned up the seams like right and stuff the middle of the field. But
Mhm.
every time that they had a crucial third down, um, Trevor Lawrence was there to pick him up. He was 8 of
Yeah.
15 on third down, which was very impressive. And they just kind of outpaced and outmatched Denver.
Yeah. I'll say one thing about Denver, like, on that 11 win run. Just look at the quality of wins, though. So, like, if we just dissect that 11 win run right now, they
Yeah,
beat the Bengals, right? They beat the Eagles. They beat the Jets. They beat the Giants, Cowboys, Texans, Raiders, Chiefs, Commanders, Raiders, Packers. Got a lot of bad teams in there, a lot of non-playoff teams right there,
a
right?
lot
So
of
that's
flop.
that's one, and they beat the Titans in the first few games. So that's one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, possibly 10 wins against non-playoff teams.
Yeah, fair. Totally fair.
And they lost to the Colts and the Chargers and the Jaguars, who are gonna or in the playoff mix at least. So that's where I get the pretender out of them. I need to see quality wins.
Yeah. I mean, I totally get it. I mean, they've got the Thursday night game against KC and they finish at home with the Chargers. So, I mean, we kind of it's tough because you don't really have quality games left on the schedule. It's not like
Yeah,
we're early into November where we still have enough time to kind of figure out what they are. We're just
exactly.
we're just gonna roll with it. And
Yeah,
we said at the beginning, at the outset, we said it week over week that this AFC in terms of the playoff picture is going to be a huge wild card. It's going to be a massive question mark across the board. There's really no guarantees in the AFC.
yeah. The gap is so wide this year. It's all mediocre. It's amazing.
Yeah, you've had Cincinnati, the usual suspects, Baltimore. They've both been kind of out of playoff contention in the picture this year, and there's really no one to be able to count on. But we'll get into that later in the show. But I'm glad we were able to touch on Jacksonville and Denver because that was a huge game out of conference, out of division that was worth covering.
Absolutely.
Yeah, moving on the 4:30 slot, we had Pittsburgh Steelers going up to Detroit. This was a must-win game for both teams, and I think that the Steelers really had a lot to lose if they went home with a loss here, but they prevailed. They won 29-24 on a huge fourth quarter drive by Aaron Rodgers, putting them up ahead. They outscored Detroit 17-14 in the fourth quarter, and they come home with a win. Pittsburgh's 9-6 now. They really control their fate in the NFC. I mean, in the AFC North. But it's too early to tell and crown a division champ. But what were your initial thoughts about this win for Pittsburgh?
Phenomenal win. Must need all around quality game. I think it starts with the run game, 27 to 230 and two touchdowns and two, breakout runs by Jalen Warren. But then I also look at Kenneth Gainwell becoming that utility guy, going 9 of 50 and then leading the team in receiving yards with 5 for 78 and a touchdown.
Catch of
So
the
catch of the year by far.
maybe.
Great football. It reminded me of Julian Edelman against Atlanta in the Super Bowl, that kind of catch, right? So quality win, Aaron Rodgers doing Aaron Rodgers things. Listen, he's not gonna wow you at this point, but he's not gonna lose you the game. And that's sort of what this team needs. And, going down the stretch, they make the playoffs. It's not the craziest thing to just see them rely on their history and pedigree to make a deep run. This team's just seasoned and veterans, and they're not messing around. I wouldn't with the AFC the way it is. I wouldn't be shocked if you see them in the AFC Championship just by accident. No other reason than it just happens. Veteran experience with veteran moves. Detroit, they're great, but they're a mess. The defense is riddled with injuries right now in the secondary.
Yeah.
And the
Just like
offense, yes, it's the same story every
same story as
season with
last year.
Detroit. The defense is the issue. Jared Goff put up 34-54 for 364 and three tutties. They had no run game, which one dimensional. It's always hard to win. But, the offense looked great in the passing game, at least because they had no choice. But the defense just couldn't stop anything. And that's the problem there. It's like, you want to win the game, but, they're running down the ball and time of possession is going far and far and far. And then towards the end of the game, the crucial call that everyone was blowing smoke up and everything like that, he didn't even cross the end zone anyway, and it would have been, wouldn't even have won them the game. So, this team, it's just such a disappointment. I'm very shocked by Detroit this season. I don't know what happened, but they need a little retooling. I think a big issue is that Dan Campbell having to call plays on the offense now takes his eyes away on other things, such as the defense. And with
Yeah.
the first year defensive coordinator, where I think he's doing a hell of a job of what the injuries are, he needs a head coach to also help and be available, which I don't think he's getting anymore.
No, he lost too much from his coaching staff this year. There's no doubt about it. Losing Aaron Glenn and then losing Ben Johnson, is a lot to recoup. It's a lot of personnel change. Usually, you only lose one coordinator at a time,
Mm-hmm.
and that was just tremendous. I mean, they've been riddled with injuries. We talked about the secondary. It's the same story, different year from last year. I also think that they're a product of their schedule. I think this was a
Mm-hmm.
tough schedule. Just to kind of go back on it. Let me see here. Um, just taking a peek back. I mean, they beat Tampa Bay, but they played. Let me see here. Sorry about that. They played Philadelphia, but they played Green Bay. They played the Rams,
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys.
It's all quality losses.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough schedule. They did have some early wins against the Ravens that were very impressive, but it's just not. It was a perfect storm of a lot of factors. Now, going back to this game specifically, I thought Gainwell was kind of the X factor. He had 14
Hmm.
plays for a buck 30 all-purpose yards. I thought he was tremendous. He was exactly the spark they needed. I think the real testament was this Pittsburgh defense, and this was something that's going
Yeah,
to carry them into the postseason. Keeping Jahmyr Gibbs in that offense to 15 rushing yards is
insane.
unfathomable. That's Raider bad for offense if you're Detroit.
Yeah,
And if you're Pittsburgh, you have to hang that. You have to hang your hat on that. Now, the fact that they only won by a one possession touchdown is a little alarming when you have such an elite defense like that. But Jared Goff did what he could. We know
yeah,
who he is. He's a stud. I just thought that they were very impressive on third down. They dominated time of possession by almost 10 minutes. And they pretty much kept it clean for Aaron. I mean, they got home on him twice, but he had a 92 QBR. I thought
yeah.
he was pretty clean and steady in the pocket, 27 to 41, and he just did his thing. The real question mark if they're going to win out in the AFC North is this is this um is this offensive line going to hold up? Is this run game going to show up? Because it's
Yeah.
going to give Aaron time to spread out the offense, split out wide with their two tight ends and really mix things up and allow maybe DK to go one on one. And they've been very predictable on offense the past
Yeah.
few weeks, and I think that's really been what's been hamstringing them.
Yeah.
But it was a quality win. Detroit, they got 2 weeks to fix it, and you can only hope and pray. Fingers crossed.
It's gonna be hard. I'll
It's
say
gonna
this though. Pittsburgh, you're missing DK Metcalf for the rest of the season till the playoffs.
Did they rule him out
It's
with
two
with the?
game suspension right now. He's
Is it
appealing
two
it,
game
but
suspension? Jeez.
even if it goes to one, he's losing $45 million in guaranteed contract.
Woo!
So,
Wow. Lord have
ladies and gentlemen, don't hit the people that are paying for you to play
mercy.
sports.
Yeah.
Even if they say words to you, doesn't matter. Be the bigger person. You get paid more money.
Yeah. And especially with, you're gonna go to Cleveland. Cleveland's a bad team, but divisional is divisional. That's tough. But even just down the stretch, on Sunday the 4th, after New Year's, you come home, you're finishing out the year. You want to be in your best position to compete, for the playoffs, and you got to go up against the Ravens. And it's like that's the division. It's the same situation in the NFC South as it is in the AFC North.
Yeah.
It's going to come down to that last game, and you know that Lamar, if he's healthy, he wants to exact revenge for what they did coming into his house. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be tough, but we'll stay on Baltimore. We're gonna go back to Sunday Night Football, where the New England Patriots have a huge bounce back win after the loss in the previous week with Buffalo. They went on the road 28-24, coming back from 11 down. The last time they did that in the fourth quarter was Tom freaking Brady in the Super Bowl against Atlanta.
Oh wow.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. Drake May is making his candidacy well known for MVP. He's got to be the odds-on favorite along with Stafford. But this was just a very impressive win for New England on the road.
Yeah. I'm just all around. You know, the passing game was sensational for Drake May and the Pats offense.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter Henry just making catches for first downs and that crucial touchdown. Stephon Diggs opening up the field, getting going on for 138. And if you really think about it, Travion Henderson was hurt the game. He only had 5 carries for 3 yards and got hurt, and they still were able to, win this game. Lamar Jackson, injuries, man. Running quarterbacks in year nine, was it in year 9? They always say it's like injuries start hitting up, and I don't know, man. It's every week is a different injury with him, and it's starting to become that he's now reliable, and that's the best availability is the best thing, for a team at quarterback. And I think it's time to blow it up. I don't think the coaching works anymore. You go into the fourth quarter, Derrick Henry scores a touchdown. Has 18 for 128 and 2 touchdowns, and he doesn't get a carry for the rest of the fourth quarter. How does that make sense to me? The man literally, listen, I get it. Oh, you might have only a couple of timeouts left and the clock's running. Okay, great. I'm pretty sure him running the football, he'll get more yards than you throwing the football. That's just pure math. He's a bulldozer. He just gets there, makes one cut, and he just goes for it. Even at his age, you got to give him at least 5 to 6 carries in the fourth just to try
Yeah.
to hit the home run. It's just how it's in his nature to do those kind of plays in those moments. And when you don't do it, This is this is what happens, especially with a backup quarterback. You know, Huntley's your QB2. Well, Derrick Henry should be your first option once he's in the game. That's no
Yeah.
brainer there. So I think they sunk their season here. And Drake May is just going to continue to get that MVP vote.
Yeah, no, great. All well said. I think with the Ravens, your analysis is spot on. I think that they're panicking up in that front office. This is a great, well-run organization. I just don't. I think the time has run out on Harbaugh, and
Yeah,
not all of it's his fault. It's a lot of injuries. It's a lot of disappointments with Lamar. We've had this debate off and on all year with Lamar, Josh Allen, the face of their franchise. When things go south, who is the problem and who's more culpable? I think this is one of those things where he's got to take his lumps here. It's not exactly the honeymoon that we expected. They didn't flip a switch when he came back, what people had hoped. Everybody was hoping on, 1-5, they'll flip the switch, they'll win, they'll reel off 10 straight. It's like, no, they've lost. They've dropped some very, very affordable games that they could have won. They didn't.
yeah,
They didn't host at home with Pittsburgh. They didn't beat the Bengals. On the road, and it's just there's just it's gonna be a tough road you got to win out and you got to beat Pittsburgh,
yeah.
so it's gonna be tough.
And I'll be honest with you, back injury,
Those
tape
are
that
hard
up,
to bounce back.
tape that up with some ice and go back out there for a drive or two. You have Philip Rivers at 45 going out there getting cracked and playing a better game than you.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt.
Like with being 7-7, this is a playoff game. You go out there and only way you're coming off the field is if you're getting carried out.
Yeah, it's a 3-game
So
season.
that's
We
what I'm saying. So I don't understand that. That's the thing with Lamar though. If you ever notice his injuries, there's no ever fight to try to get back on the field.
no, it's always at his leisure. I mean, it was always a big game and song and dance the past 2 years when he was in and out of the lineup and stuff. Will he come back? Will he not come back? It's like, well, if you're the freaking MVP, I mean, you could kind of grow a set and you could step up. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
that's
Yeah,
just my analysis, but
yeah,
yeah, and some of this too is Vrabel's scheming. He had Derrick Henry in his roost for 6 years. I think he knows what he brings to the table. I think that was a game
yeah,
where that was going to be taking candy from a baby, if you're asking me. Um, and he's one of three coaches in that conversation at the end of the year. So I'm very impressed that their timeline, their schedule of winning, their improvement year over year. They've been absolutely amazing, adding their win total this year. But
yeah.
that's it for Week 16. I'm glad we were able to cover some of the big ones, the more consequential games. I do want to kind of talk about some of the teams that clinched over the weekend. We kind of talked about it in the pregame, in the pre-show, but for those at home who haven't taken a look yet, we have 12 spots, pretty much 12, no, 10 spots.
10 spots.
Yeah, 10 spots finalized, shored up, 5-5 on each side. The AFC, we got the Broncos, the New England Patriots, Buffalo Bills, the Chargers, the Jags. And on the NFC side, we got the Seahawks, the 49ers, the Bears, the Eagles, the Rams. Didn't really have too much of a direction with this conversation. I just wanted to kind of reflect on where we are with the teams that have clinched and punched their tickets to the playoffs. Is
Hmm.
there anybody that has surprised you this year, and teams that you're just impressed by, basically punching their ticket at this point?
Yeah. So for me, I'll start with the NFC. I'm really impressed with Seattle and Chicago. Just uncertainty at quarterback, and then a new coach stepping in and playing quality football and doing what they're doing is amazing. Carolina research. Honestly, this being as a Cowboy fan, I'm very prideful of the NFC right now because you saw a lot of the 7 teams right now. In the top 7 right now are teams that really, except the Eagles, stepped it up this season. Seattle stepped up. Bears answered the call. Philadelphia crumbled, but they're starting to, wind itself back up. Carolina, Bryce Young showing who he is. San Francisco, in my opinion, is the story of the season right now. Decimated with injuries,
Uh,
backup quarterback. In my opinion, last night's game was the statement of the game of the season for San Francisco. Kyle Shanahan, in my eyes, won Coach of the Year last night at a 48-27 win. Just for what he's doing with the amount of injuries right now, In my opinion, he has. If the way they're playing right now, they can still get the number one seed. If the next 2 weeks actually they still have play for that. And then the Rams are spectacular. And Green Bay and Detroit, who are in the mix, are still playing well. So it's just a good season for the NFC right now. AFC, I'm disappointed this season. I'm really impressed with the Jags, the Pats, the Steelers, and the Texans. Pats and Jags, new coaches, quarterbacks, unproven, finally proving themselves. Quality teams all around here. Good for them. Steelers, old reliable vets just getting in there and doing their thing, still making a statement that we belong in this league. They're just, typical Pittsburgh's always in the hunt. And then the Texans, quarterback injuries, uncertainty, rough beginning of the season. Now they're looking, in my opinion, like they could be the favorite to win it all out of the AFC.
Yeah.
The
Lots of
defense is so good.
yeah, absolutely. Lots of good stuff on both sides of the conferences. I think for me, the most impressive teams that from what I saw, just with strength of schedule and everything they've had to overcome this year, was Seattle and the 49ers. I think Seattle with a new regime, Mike McDonald taking things in stride, you have a new quarterback in the QB room, Cooper Cup. You're revamping this defense to, and you're trying to divvy up the touches respectively with your running back one and running back
Mm-hmm.
two. I think there was a lot of things that he successfully juggled in this year. I thought that they were very impressive, and to with all the attention drawn to the Rams being kind of the face of that division now moving forward and having all the pressure on their shoulders to kind of be in that Super Bowl conversation. The
Mm-hmm.
Seattle was able to hold host on their own and finally pick up a signature win for Sam Darnold was very impressive.
Yeah.
It's similar with 49ers. You hit it on it. Just the rotation, all the numerous starting lineups that Shanahan's had to deal with. It was just a coaching masterclass from Shanahan all year. And having C-Mac as someone to rely on off of an injured season, he's basically in the running for offensive player of the year in my eyes, if not.
Absolutely.
I was very impressed with their win last night against Indianapolis. I think they blew the doors off them, especially considering that you're on the road and you're playing a desperate team. And I think that can't be understated as well.
Yeah.
On the AFC side, I think it's just the Pats for the sole purpose that they're so far ahead of schedule, and just adding 10 plus wins to their win total from the year prior. I think is very impressive. I would give it to the Chargers, but I still have a lot of reservations with how legit they are.
Yeah.
I think that they're just kind of the regular season personified team. Um, I do like I really do like what's going on with Houston. I think that they are one of those remaining teams to kind of clinch, but I think that they're as hot as any team in the league right now. They got pushed around by my awful Raiders this weekend, but I think it was just kind of playing down to their competition. They had a home.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it was just a little bit of that for me. But with that being said, AFC North, you're rocking with Pittsburgh, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I like Pittsburgh here.
Yeah, me
Just based
too.
on the remaining schedule.
And I think Houston's going to ride that 7 seed as well.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because, what Philip Rivers is doing right now with the Colts in 2 games, I'm beyond impressed.
Yeah, me too.
Even in that loss, I don't know. It's an indictment on every quarterback in the NFL sub 45 that can produce and be a starting quarterback. That a man off the couch at 45 with one grandchild could go out there and just sling it and play football. Me personally, I think this trumps a Super Bowl win for him in Hall of Fame legitimacy. I really do, though. Being 4 years out, stepping in and playing quality football with no formal training camp or anything like that, literally off the couch and putting together quality tape, you're a Hall of Famer just on an athletic standpoint.
Well, they did the same thing with Matt Ryan, and they did the same thing with Jeff Saturday as an interim head coach. It only lasted a few weeks, but it was still like this seems to be kind of in their wheelhouse to do. To pull
Yeah,
it
I don't know if it's just scheme or they just luck out with age players. I don't know.
Well, Jim Irsay's daughter's got to sprinkle some magic if they want to salvage the rest of the season because
Absolutely.
it was a great story early in the year. JT bouncing back, Danny Dimes having an unbelievable start to the year, kind of like Baker in Tampa. But this is a league of attrition. It's injuries are a part of the game, and it's unfortunate to see, but it's reality.
Hmm.
You got to give a little love to Indianapolis there as well, uh, continuing to compete. For me, when it comes down to what the NFC South, I'm gonna hold pat with Carolina.
Yeah.
I really think that again, we know it's gonna come down to week 18. Um, but I just think that this is their time to take the mantle. They've been irrelevant for
Hmm.
years. Tampa's kind of enjoyed basically no competition, and I really believe in this coaching staff for Carolina. It's just can you keep Bryce Young upright? Is he going to show up to play?
Yeah.
That's really the thing. Which version of Jekyll are you going to get Hyde?
Yeah. No, I agree. It's constant thing with that. My one question for Tampa is what's more important, a playoff win or Mike Evans getting 697 yards to hit 1,000 again in the
Oh,
next
they
two
know.
weeks?
Pull like two back-to-back TO games.
Yeah. What's more important for the fan base?
At that point, I don't know. I mean, they got their bowls. They got their chips.
Yeah.
Todd Bowles is definitely I think he's
He
up.
has to get fired. He has to get fired.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just it's done. That team needs a offensive minded head coach.
That team needs a douching because they have some talent on their team. I mean, I love Bucky Irving. I love a lot of their pieces on offense. I still like
Hmm.
Keon when he's healthy, but they need some real revamping and
Yeah.
they need to fire that offensive coordinator as well. They need to get
Yeah.
Baker back healthy. They got to do something. They got to do something with that secondary because that front four is elite. They
Yeah,
still
and then
have
you have Winfield in
Vita
the back at
Vea.
safety, but there's
Yeah.
no corners whatsoever. And it's an aging wide receiver room, and like the
Yeah.
Godwin deal isn't looking good anymore after coming
Nope.
back from injury. I would hope Evans retires after this season. Even though I think he could still play. If not, I'd probably cut him. I don't want him on the team anymore. Even though he's a legend there, it's just
Yeah.
I don't. This he doesn't give enough anymore. Besides the 50-50 ball, in my opinion, that I don't think you're going to keep him as a wide receiver three. Agbuka has to take the wide receiver one spot, and then who are you going to pair with him?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, all valid points. I just we see. I think that they like again they've benefited from a very weak division off of the Brady years, with them kind of coasting and
Hmm.
kicking the can on a lot of these important decisions. And Carolina was slowly building. I think what's going to be crucial for them week 18 is if their defense and that secondary can cause turnovers, if they can pick off
Yeah,
Baker, they can create short yardage situations for Bryce Young and make things simplify where they could put up 3 points, 7 points, take time off the clock, run the ball. That's going
yeah.
to be really crucial. Um,
They, they have
we
the
got
best running back duo in the league with Dowdle and Hubbard, in my
with Dowdle
opinion.
and
Just
Hubbard, yeah,
just for quality, 2,000 yard backs, in different seasons. There's no reason why they can't run over the Bucks.
yeah, 100%. It reminds me of who was the combo in Atlanta? Freeman and Char-
Yeah, and Coleman,
Freeman
Tevin
and
Coleman.
Coleman, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's exactly what it reminds me of. Just these meaty bell cows, but they split the reps, and it kind of mirrors the situation in Seattle. But they have kind of their own formula cooking there in Carolina. It's going to be interesting actually seeing those two teams compete this weekend. So
hmm
we got a special guest coming in. Our man Bars the God. He's back after a long period of off. Where are you, man?
How we doing?
There he is. Smile for
What's
the
going on?
camera. What's
What's
going on,
going on?
boss?
What's going on, guys? You caught me at work, honestly. Not gonna lie to you, but I had to pop in real quick, like you said. It's been a little bit, and I got some bragging to do. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah, I hear you now.
yeah, it crashed on me.
Oh, Chris, yeah. There's double you now. There's the two Alexes now. Look at that.
How do we get rid of this?
That's fine. We like to keep you up there as a
Well,
surprised look.
well, it's still recording, which is great. So I'm just gonna keep rolling, guys. This is the
Sure.
nature of things. Sorry about that. But we're back. We're gonna have a ghost of me in the other corner, so my apologies. Um, but yeah, so bars oh, there we go. It's going now. Okay. Bars, we already recapped week 16, but I want to get your thoughts on a huge win for your Pittsburgh Steelers up in Detroit before we keep moving and keep this rolling.
So what is it? 3 game win streak now.
Yep.
Another solid Tomlin 500 season. Um, I will say, I will say it was a solid win. We needed it. So much needed. The Ravens went down. That boosted us taking the AFC North. I had no doubt that we were going to take it this year. Things may have gotten a little shaky, but part of being a fan is sticking it out and never like giving up on your team. I will say everybody played a great game. Kenny Gainwell,
Yeah.
the MVP of
X
the
Factor.
season for us, man. I'm not even gonna like the game before it was rushing for him. This game it was catching. The game before that it was rushing and catching. As Jalen Warren calmed down a little bit, I would say it's more so it's what the defense has given us. You know what I'm saying? Arthur Smith is dialing up some really good plays. The defense are just on it. There's some good guys, but at the same time, our offense has really been clicking. Aaron Rodgers is looking, I wouldn't say prime time, but I would say he's nearing that that zone where it's like, okay, I think I can count on him for something.
Mm.
Um,
Yep.
and I would say the defense a little lethargic at times, but even the offense started slow. But great when we were able to shut down Gibbs. He had like almost no rushing yards. Montgomery
Yep.
had like maybe 20, if that. They did catch a lot of passes on us though. They put up 300 yards of offense. Um, throwing the ball, so that we got to look at that. We got to tighten up in that area. We're banged up in the secondary. But
Mhm.
I feel we did a very good job against a very high scoring, threatening offense. You know what I'm saying? And they're a pretty solid defense too. So for us to put up what we put up on them, ground wise, air wise, I think it was a really good game. Much
Yeah.
needed solid win.
Yeah, absolutely.
No doubt. Yeah, you got to feel real good about your spot with the AFC North, locking that up. All you got to do is take care of Cleveland, and then you hold host at home at with the Ravens. That's it.
Yeah, divisional games, they're gonna be tough. They're gonna be tough. We're gonna try to keep Miles Garrett away from that record.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like he might get it on us, and it'll be symbolic because he's breaking TJ's record. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
That's
so
true.
I hope that
That's
doesn't
true.
happen. I hope that doesn't happen on us. I hope it doesn't happen for the rest of the season.
Tell
Like,
him to save it for Cincy. Save it for Burrow.
yeah, same for Bruno. Clap that man up. You know what I'm saying? Don't hurt my quarterback. It's looking real good for us. We need like a couple teams to pretty much lose out, but
Yep.
regardless, I think we're pretty much still in the playoffs. But I think it just this helps us avoid wild card, and I think it's just really good. We go see Cincy, we go see the Ravens. Lamar Jackson's looking like a shadow of his former self.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, ghost.
Cincy, we don't know what they got going on over there, so we'll figure that out. Burrow, he's tapped out, so
Yeah, I mean, you guys got it going on. Even if it's for 1 year. I mean, the Tomlin reign is still going. 22 years now with plus 500 season. Absolutely incredible. It just does make you wonder, though, what is their ceiling moving forward? Because after this year, they're going to have a lot of expiring contracts. They got an aging roster. You got Cam Hayward, who's been there for a long time now. You got Aaron at 42 years old. Do you expect them to go heavy in the draft and kind of re-up on both sides of the ball here in the offseason?
that's what I would love for them to do. But I can't never count on nothing with the Steelers draft. Like I can say that they do make a lot of good picks.
At the
As you
receiver
can
position,
see,
yeah.
and as you can see, Derek Harmon, our number one,
Mhm.
our first round.
There.
He was our first draft pick. Derek Harmon was our first draft pick. As you
Yep.
can see what we did with him. And out the game, teams are running the ball down our throat. In the game, they couldn't do anything. So it shows you that we two look really good in the draft. Keanu Benton's really breaking out. So I would say, if anything, retool up in the safety department, in the
Yeah.
cornerback department. We've drafted a lot of good linebackers over the years. We still got a lot of good ones in reserve. Patrick Queen still on there for I think one more year.
Yep.
Um, What else?
You got Ramsey back.
Yeah, you guys need a safety and a wide receiver too. That would be it. And honestly, I want to see Will Howard compete in
Yeah,
training camp. I want to see him. I think he's going to be a quality player.
I do too. I think we get rid of Mason. I think Will probably fits into that Mason role until we see what he can really do.
Yeah.
We can go ahead and draft if we can draft a quarterback, that'd be fire. Get a quarterback. Start like if he starts, start him if he's that capable to do that, and then have Will back up. And then boom, if he gets hurt and Will steps up, Nick Foles. Who knows? But
Big Dick Nick.
But basically, I feel like we definitely need a wide receiver. I don't mind if we get two wide receivers. You know what I'm saying? And experiment between the two.
Could always have more.
Well,
But
y'all pull them out of thin air though. That's the thing is you guys have a proclivity for like just
Yeah.
pulling them out of nowhere in the draft. I think you got to try to find a back maybe in the 4th or 5th round because
exactly.
there's an issue with the difference between the passing game and the run game.
Yeah.
So that's.
I mean, you have the best tight end trio in the league as well. So it's like
Oh, yeah.
you could run, a 31 personnel and just have them do a play action out of that with Janu Smith and Darnell Washington's awesome.
Listen, I have not been on the show in a couple weeks, so let me just go. Mount Washington, Jonnu Smith, one of the better pickups. Kenny Gainwell, Jonnu Smith, Jalen Ramsey. We even picked up Asante Samuel's first game, doing his thing. Like, listen, it's so much that this team has done. Adam Thielen, lots of great freaking catches.
Yeah.
I didn't think Adam Thielen would be the guy. There was talk about him last year. I didn't think Adam Thielen would be the guy to come and glue the stuff up. He is. It sucks when Wilson's getting a little bit of downplay, but with this suspension of DK, I'm mad we didn't get to really talk about that. But I feel like that was a setup. That fan has history with antagonizing DK. And it seems as if when it went down, that they were kind of happy about it. Like they kind of, yeah, we got it on camera. So I don't know what they got to do with that. The league got to protect the players. But at the same time, DK, you got to keep your head on you. You guys are almost in the playoffs. You don't want nothing to mess it up, and that could mess it up.
Yeah, sometimes guys just break and they lose their cool, and some of they're shithead fans too that get low seats, and that's part of the nature of the game. We saw it NBA all the time. It happens in the NFL too. I want to just quickly pivot. I know you haven't been on the show in a while, so I want to fill you in on MVP talks. Who do you think is leading candidate for the MVP right now? Who's your MVP and why?
Leading candidate for MVP, my MVP, Matthew Stafford. This is my man. Just look at the numbers. The numbers tell you everything they need to tell you. Despite that loss, look at those numbers he put up in that loss. You know what I'm saying? It's football. It's the name of the game. The nature is crazy. You never know what can happen. And the lights are the brightest. I think that Matthew Stafford is like for many years people weren't solid on him because like he was in Detroit. They weren't winning. The minute he gets on a team, better system, personnel around him, wins the Super Bowl. Look what he's doing in the last 5 years since leaving Detroit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let's look at that. He's having a phenomenal year. And if I would have a runner up, sadly, I hate to say it, but it'd be Drake May.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with you too. I mean, like Matt Stafford's TD to INT ratio is 8-1 right now.
It's crazy.
It's insane. Yeah, and if you really think about it, he threw 2 of those in like the first week in the season, and he went on like a 30-0 TD to INT ratio over across like 10 games.
Yeah,
lights out. He has to just win the MVP on. He's 37. Like you're not supposed to be doing this anymore at this point. You're supposed to just be doing check downs, having like a 28-12 TD to INT ratio, like 3,500 yards, nothing crazy, middle of the pack quarterback play at that age. And he's, in my opinion, if he wins the Super Bowl coming up, I think he becomes the best Rams quarterback of all time, beating out Kurt Warner.
I think it kills all that. He doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame talk.
Agreed. I think this season alone, he'll get in just because of this season. I think officially
for sure. Yeah, I think even in previous episodes we weren't really debating. I think everything's been put to bed, whether he's even in the Hall of Fame or not. I think we're debating now where he is in the Hall of Fame. Like, is he a first rounder? Is he going to leapfrog people in terms of all time hierarchy with in terms of quarterbacks? I think that's more of the conversation, to be honest. And yeah, and I think that's really like more of what we're talking about. But yeah. So Brian, do you kind of pretty much agree with
Stafford, and then
Stafford and
after
May,
that,
one
Drake
B?
May, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
same.
I'll still, if I go third, I stay CMC, but that's just because there needs to be an Athlete of the Year award, and CMC is going to go for 1,000 yards and
All-purpose
nine, and
athlete.
yeah, he's going to have 1,000 rush and 900 reception. It's going to be insane.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm looking at the odds. It's like obviously Stafford's odds on he's 200, 220 to 300. And then Drake May's like 180, like plus 180 to 245. And then you got Josh Allen 2,500 to 600. But they don't even have him in the long shots with CMC.
Yeah, I don't
They're
get it.
talking Caleb, they're talking Trevor Lawrence, but I just think you got to give some love to CMC with what he's been able to do in terms of all scrimmage yards and with Shanahan's offense. He's just been absolutely electric this year. Bars, any thoughts on CMC?
CMC, man. Production. That's the only word I ever can think about when I think about him. Production. But if Saquon didn't get it, I can't give it to CMC. Sorry.
Yeah, you're right on that. Yeah. I mean, like, listen, he's going to be the first player ever to have 2 seasons of 900. It's
Listen,
insane.
if he does 2 seasons of 1,000 and 1,000, give it to him. Just give it
Yeah,
to him the minute he hits it. Like, matter of fact, like, because look at that. If that's the case, then we should have gave it to Mike Evans. He's had how many seasons with 1,000 yards consecutively?
I agree.
So
They should have decade MVP. Who's
yeah,
the like? I want to like the old decade team. Like, I want an MVP of the decade. It still would be Brady, but
this decade still.
probably
Nah, I can't give
Well,
him
we
this.
could reserve kind of the offensive a player of the year award if there is such a thing for CMAC because he
Yeah,
definitely
has
yeah
to. Him
yeah
or
I mean
JT.
and if it ain't him, it's Jackson Smith and Jigba or freaking Puka. I'm sorry.
oh
Yeah,
yeah
Puka's
yeah
playing nuts too.
no all good stuff. Yeah, I mean we'll certainly have a nice segment towards the end of the year as we go into the playoffs for regular season awards. I think it's definitely something where we could kind of shine a light on some of these guys. And I mean throw Jameer Gibbs in there too. I mean like he's had an amazing
Yeah,
year even though they're only 8-7. Um,
it's been a year of offense.
it's been a year of offense. That's what the league wants, man. And
If Joe Burrow could win that shit, and they had that crap record that they had, then anyone could win it, with depending on the record. That's how I feel
so real quick, we'll just take a quick little look at the Pro Bowl selections. I didn't pull them up on screen because it's kind of too much to kind of go through. But when we look at them,
Sorry to cut you off. I gotta cut, man.
well,
I'm at work, so
no, you're good. You're good, bro. You're good, bro. Is there
Appreciate the
anybody?
input.
Yeah, well, we're just kind of using that platform with the announcement as kind of a jumping off point for you to kind of give some love to anybody that you saw that made the Pro Bowl that you wanted to shine a spotlight on.
I didn't get to look at the Pro Bowl list. Will not lie to you.
That's
I didn't get to
okay.
look at the Pro Bowl list. Any rookies made that Pro Bowl list?
Let me look.
Yeah,
Or any of my Steelers? That's the question.
you're self-serving. You just want to see Pittsburgh on it, and you're good. Well,
I'm looking right now. I don't see any rookies yet.
yeah, it's a lot of seasoned guys.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's any rookies on here.
If there's anyone I would give it to, a prop to. I don't know if he made it, but if he did make the Pro Bowl,
TJ Watt made outside linebackers.
if he did make the Pro Bowl list, I would have to give a shout out to Marlon Humphrey this year. He
Oh yeah,
actually played a lot better than he did
Yeah,
last
yeah.
Oh, Jalen Ramsey made it too.
year. J Ram. So there you go. Shout out J Ram. Derwin James probably made that too.
Yeah,
Maybe.
he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Derwin James is one of those players that like his stats don't jump out at you on paper. It's what he brings to the field.
Hardest hitter I've ever seen.
He's a leader in that locker room too, no doubt. He's the captain for them, so he's definitely a leader in the locker room, no doubt. Brian, anybody you want to give some love to before we move on?
I mean, for me, talk about just commanding a sinking ship. Dak Prescott, man, good for you. This is the closest thing you're getting to an award this season after having a stellar season at quarterback with a
Bro.
top three offense with one of the worst defenses I've ever seen in my life. I feel bad for that entire side of the ball. Wasted see it's like imagine wasting a year of your prime for garbage on the other side, and you
Nah,
have to still see them in the locker room every day.
nah. Imagine putting up 300 yards and still being Dak Prescott.
Yeah, that too.
That's the problem here because it's like you're so efficient, but then the minute the game's on the line, pick. It's just
I
pick.
mean, this season he didn't even really do that though. It was maybe like 2 or 3 games. This season he's been lighting it up. It's just unfortunately the defense can't stop anything.
Now, if they made the playoffs, you would see what I'm talking about because
Hundred
it's
percent, hundred
every
percent agree with you. But he
everywhere.
was a regular season merchant this year, and the defense could not support him.
I definitely want to give some love to Brian Burns and the Giants. I thought he had an
Ooh,
amazing
good
year
shit.
Yeah.
outside linebacker. Same thing with Jared Verse. Your boy from the Rams, Bars. I
Yes,
thought
sir.
he's been locking things down. They have like one of the top five defenses in the league this year. I definitely had Aiden Hutchinson on my list for comeback player of the year. I'm glad that he got some love at defensive end for the
Real
for the
good
Pro Bowl
finisher.
games. Yeah, 100%.
I'll throw D Law in that. DeMarcus Lawrence, new team with Seattle, and he's fitting in better than he ever did in Dallas.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Key,
Um,
key to that defense.
I thought Joe Alt was kind of a controversial take because he's been out. He's missed 5 or 6 games. He's kind of been in and out of the lineup. Same thing with Bowers for the offense on the AFC side. That's kind of one of those things where you get into question. It's like talent versus production because you got guys that are more talented, but necessarily weren't healthy and available
Oh,
on the field.
and
Uh,
I know he's on the list, so shout out Trey McBride.
Yeah, yeah. All pro season for him.
oh, for sure.
Gonna
Yeah.
break. I think he's on pace to break every a tight end record for receptions and yards and touchdowns this season.
Yeah. And I talked briefly about how stacked the offensive, I mean, the outside linebackers roster, the top three for the Pro Bowl games on the NFC side. But the AFC defensive ends, Will Anderson, Max Crosby, and Myles Garrett. I mean, is that not just elite or what? That's just like
Yeah,
three best guys outside of
I
two.
mean, look at the outside linebackers for the AFC too, with Nick Benito and T.J. Watt and Tuli Tuipulotu. Those guys have like 35 sacks combined too.
Yeah. Yeah. Pat Surtain up in Denver, top cornerback in the league. I thought that was fantastic to see. He finally got some love. He's been holding that defense down before the defense was really a thing up there in Denver while they were struggling to get back to a winning team. And just nice to see Ramsey from the Steelers, like you said, and your boy Brandon Aubrey. Shout out, Brian.
Yeah, man.
One of
All
the best
good
kickers
hope.
in the league.
Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
say this though, it's absolutely criminal that Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell made it for the Eagles because they did not
Listen,
have good seasons.
we're not gonna talk about it. They just want to live up off their last season's hype. But look, I'm
So
excited for you
crazy.
guys. I want y'all to have enjoy the rest of the show. But if there's anything I want to shout out, I want to shout out Yards After the Catch podcast. You already know what it is, guys. Tune in next week. Tune in for the week after that. I don't know if we're gonna do a wrap up, but I hope we do.
We're gonna get
Tune
you.
in
We're
for
gonna
tune
get you
in
back.
forever.
We're gonna get you back for 2026, my man. Thank you for stopping in tonight, dude. It's good to see you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
Be good,
guys.
guys. Merry Christmas.
Take care, buddy. And yeah, I mean, Cooper DeJean, he deserves it.
Horrible.
Well, I think he deserves some love just for banging milfs. I think he
Yeah,
deserves
yeah.
it.
That's a different category though. I thought in the Pro
He's
Bowl.
bringing big wig energy, if you know what I mean, to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
corner position. He's showing.
No, for real.
I mean that's what you get when you pick off Mahomes in the Super Bowl. You're going to be in that status already.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like he's gonna live off that for a few years. Like if that's a point, then Riley Moss on Denver, who was the most penalized cornerback in the league this year, should have gotten the Pro Bowl too. But I think it's a great list. I think the wide receivers, one of the best classes we've seen in a while. And it's amazing to see that CeeDee Lamb isn't even on this because of an injured season, and he's not there. Like just a quality list.
I always want to give some love to James Cook too because we talk about
Yeah,
him week in and week out.
number one in rushing now.
Yeah, number one in rushing, and he's just been kind of the steady guy who's never gotten a lot of love nationally because Buffalo is all about Josh Allen, but he's been kind of the go-to guy, the X factor for that offense. In
I think
addition to
he
Josh,
might be the most important player in that team.
very well could be. Yeah, I totally agree.
I
Totally.
think I think he makes Josh Allen. He was a lot. Josh Allen changed once James Cook got there. A lot
Yeah,
of people got to remember that.
yeah. Well, I appreciate y'all sticking in there, hanging in there with us while we kind of free ball it on the Pro Bowl. We don't like covering the Pro Bowl on this show just because it's meaningless.
Dodgeball now.
It's sandwiched between 2 weeks that no one gives a shit about waiting for the Super Bowl. So this is a good opportunity to just kind of show some love and change things up here on the show. But with that being said, we'll start to get on the back nine. We'll wrap things up with our Pick-Ems for Week 17. Huge consequential week in the league, as you all know. We only have 2 weeks left to sort things out for those four final playoff clinching positions. So with that being said, we'll fast forward to Christmas Day, 1 o'clock. Brian's Cowboys are going to Washington to play the Foreskins. 7 points is the spread. Dallas' favor on the road, -110. Over under is 50.5 and 325 -325 on the money line for Dallas. Brian, I hope you're taking your boys. You got to do it.
I'm taking my boys, but I hope they lose. At this point, I'm out. I want a good draft pick, and it's also like the way I think about it is, I bet me personally, you're eliminating. I bench every starter on a health aspect, but also I want to see what the backups could do. Put in put in Joe Milton, see what he do for 2 games. Put in some no
Lance.
name wide receivers. You know what I mean? Like just get some quality reps for people that don't play. Maybe they can make a name for themselves for the next season. This season's lost for both teams. Go get out of it healthy. Dallas wins by would probably say by 10, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll never ever root for the Cowboys as long as I'm still breathing a pulse in this league, in this world. But I will root for you in spirit because I like Brian, not because I like the Cowboys. I think they win and cover because Washington's just that bad, and
Washington's horrible.
they were supposed to be playing for pride with that Philly game, and they couldn't even do that. So I just think it's a lost season. Let's move on to the 4:30 slot. Detroit Lions in a must-win game on the road at Minnesota. Detroit's getting 7.5 on the road. They're favored by 7.5. 43.5 is the over/under, and -355 at the money line. I'm gonna just go first on this because I think this is really it boils down to this. If Detroit wants to hang in there and have any shot, this is it. It's do or die. You're playing number 9. There's no excuses for Goff for his shortcomings.
No, he's out. He's out. He's not playing. He has a fractured hand. Yeah, he's out. Yeah, Thursday.
McCarthy?
Yeah, I'm looking on ESPN right now. He just said 7 hours ago, Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell said Tuesday that McCarthy has been diagnosed with small hairline fracture following MRI has been ruled out for Lions.
So there's definitely no excuse.
Got to put up 5. It should be a 5-touchdown win.
This should be a rout. I think they cover. What say you, Brett?
Agreed. Yeah. Get out of it healthy.
Yeah. Last game on Christmas Day, Denver Broncos going on the road to the wounded Kansas City Chiefs. 13.5 is a massive, massive number in favor of Denver on the road. 36.5 is a frigid low over under, and -1050 for Denver. I'm following the Alex Young rule here. I think that's just way too much. But I think it's going to be a hair under. I think it's like a 12-point type of win. This team is clearly going through something after the Jacksonville loss. I don't expect them to put up a lot of points, especially on the road. I think this is somewhere like a 20-9 type of game, something like that, where they kind of coast and they take advantage of a backup quarterback. Especially we don't know if Minshew's going to be starting. He went out early in that Tennessee game. So I see kind of something around a 20-9 victory for Denver.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I see like a 10-point win for them. At this point, it doesn't matter.
They just love those 13.5-point spreads.
Yeah. Listen,
it's so outrageous.
How you make money?
Big money, big money. Fast forward Saturday, we have a very special exhibition per the NFL as we get down to the last 2 weeks of the year. Houston Texans on the road at the Chargers. Chargers are getting 1.5 at home. Over under is 39.5, minus 112, and the money line is 130. I'm going with Houston here. I think that they're the more
I agree.
desperate. They're the more desperate team. This defense is possibly the best in the league. They had a kind of a wishy-washy game against my Raiders. I think that this is their time to prove that they're that team that's going to clinch. And so I say that they win outright, and I'm taking the over.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you on both. And not really much to say with them. Houston's the top defense. I'm starting to get a little concerned about the Chargers. Just on they have a good record, but I just don't like how they play. They just
Yeah.
don't seem they. I don't know if Harbaugh is really fitting. I don't know. Something's wishy washy with that team. I don't know if we could rely on Herbert, but something's going on there. There's just no identity.
Well, if Madison Beer drains his nuts, then he's gonna lay an egg.
Yeah.
Sorry for the ladies out there listening. You know what it is. Yeah, the last time I've seen them playing at home, they just look underwhelming. They look more impressive in games you're counting them out.
Mm-hmm.
It's so strange. It's so strange. We will find out very soon. The 8 o'clock slot, the nightcap. Baltimore Ravens in a must-win game for themselves to keep their playoff hopes alive. On the road at Green Bay at Lambeau, minus 115. Minus 2.5 at home for Green Bay. 115. Over under is 40.5 and 148 minus 148 for Green Bay at home. What do you think, Brian? Here, what are you taking?
I like Green Bay by a touchdown here. I think even if Love's out, I even like the win with Malik Willis at quarterback here against a healthy Lamar Jackson. I just think that this Ravens team is toast and Lamar Jackson's just out of it now.
See, I got to disagree. My heart says Green Bay because I hate Lamar Jackson. He drives me nuts. Even with him healthy, I just expect them as the more desperate team to not go down this way. For what Malik Willis can do, he's limited, but he's very reliable. I think they'll keep this game competitive, so that's why I do like the 2.5 line. But I got to take the Ravens here outright, and I think that they're going to cover the over too, actually. Yeah, I'm seeing something more like a 27-17 type of game.
Gotcha.
Moving on, Sunday, the usual spot. New England going to the Jets, minus 13.5 on the road. There it is again. 42.5 is the over-under, and minus 1050. This is oddly a trap for me. I think.
Really? Okay.
Here's the thing. It's only a trap in the sense that I think the Jets will keep it a one-possession game. And the only reason I even say that is because New England, they're feeling good about it themselves. They've already clinched. They're not worried about Buffalo in terms of, surpassing or overwhelming them. I think that they're very comfortable in the standings. So I don't think they really care if they clinch the division the same way. But I just think that this Jets team is nitty gritty, and they're gonna keep this game competitive for whatever it's worth.
Okay. Yeah. See, I see this being a blowout because I just don't know.
Well, that's logic. That's logic.
I see. I'm breaking the rule. I think it's going to be like a 20-point win, just because I physically don't think that the Jets could score an air, let alone on the Pats defense. Like it's this team's joke. The leading wide receiver is Garrett Wilson, and he hasn't played since like week 7. So it's abysmal, this Jets team. I personally think this might actually be the worst Jets season I've ever seen alive. Is
that possible?
I think it is. I would have taken the Brady Quinn or the Geno Smith years than this team. This is embarrassing. I think Aaron Glenn should be fired after his first season, just as this. It's embarrassing. So I expect like a 20-point win.
Fair enough. 1 o'clock. This is a game I have circled. Seattle Seahawks going on the road. Carolina in the 1 o'clock spot. Seattle's getting 7 on the road. Over under is 42.5, matching the New England game as well. Minus 375 for the road team. I have to, with the praise I've been giving Carolina, I've set the stage. I would be doing a disservice to our audience if I didn't take Carolina, even though it's against logic.
I'm taking them as well. So
okay,
I like Carolina at home here.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think Sam Darnold is a revenge game for Sam Darnold. Don't get me wrong,
That's
but
true. That's true.
you know, I just I after such a win against the Rams, the letdown makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
I see a field goal win by Carolina, similar kind of game as earlier in the season when they played Dallas.
Well, these things tend to shake out where these teams coming from west, they go to the 1 o'clock spot on the East Coast. They just lay eggs.
Yeah,
So I don't know if it's necessarily the 7 point differential that I have a problem with, but I just believe that Carolina is in control of their destiny right now, and I think
yeah,
Seattle is resting on their laurels. They had an amazing week, after the win, after that super high win. Um, they've had a lot of time off, more than probably what they're comfortable with. And I just think that Carolina's hot, man. I don't know.
yeah, and they need him more. They need him more.
They need it more. They need it more. Yeah. I think this week is that should be the mantra. It's just like who needs it more? And
You
then
don't want to be going into Week 18 into Tampa Bay to win the division.
nope, that's the way they're looking at it. Exactly. They rather put it to bed now instead of leaving the door open.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh going into Cleveland, -3 for the Steelers on the road, coming off their win. But Cleveland's scrappy. Over and under is 33.5 and -175 in favor of Pittsburgh on the road. I'm taking Pittsburgh here. Just similarly, I think that they
Mm-hmm.
close this book now. If they win, they clinch and they're in. And I think Cleveland will. I think the line is about where it should be, though. I think this is a low-scoring game. It's going to be brick cold, and Cleveland's scrappy.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I see Pittsburgh winning out right here. Shador, is going to put up a decent game. He's been playing well for them with what's over there. But now with Junkins out for the season with the broken
That's
leg,
tough.
there's really nothing left on this, Browns offense to really help him. So yeah, I see Steelers outright and covering.
This feels like an 18-15 type of game to be
Yeah, yeah.
in par with the over/under. Tampa going to Miami, right across the bay. 1 o'clock spot. Tampa, another desperate team, -5.5, trying to save their season. Over/under is 45.5, and the money line is 258 in favor of Tampa, -258. I'm taking Tampa, and I'm taking it by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, same.
I think with Ewers starting, he's a vulnerable quarterback. This front four for Tampa is elite. You can count on
Mm-hmm.
it. You can count on this Todd Bowles defense dialing things up. I think that they're must win, especially with the way that they lost to Carolina, and I think they're going to blow the doors off them.
Yeah, no, I agree. Miami's done, dead in the water, and yet again, this is a playoff game for the Bucks.
Oh yeah, yeah, great way to put it. Absolutely. Arizona going to Cincinnati, 1 o'clock spot, -7 for the home team. Cincinnati, 53.5 is the over/under, and -375. This is a big FU game in terms of I do not want to watch this. I don't want to smell it. I don't want to hear it. I don't care. I don't give two shits.
Horrible game.
Yeah, this is just rough, dude. This is a must. This is a must not watch. But I love Burrow. I'm taking Burrow at home. Just nothing more than that.
I'm taking the Cardinals at away. I'm going to be honest with you. I've been very impressed with Jacoby Brissett in this offense the entire season. It comes down to me. The defense has been bad for them, but like Jacoby's playing a career year, 19-7 TD to INT. McBride's at all. He's going to get first team All Pro, and like Michael Wilson's playing lights out with Marvin Harrison out. Like I like this Cardinals team is very appetizing to me if I'm a free agent right now.
No, I'm with you on the offensive side of things. I just think they can't keep pace trying to hold up a shootout with Cincinnati.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it's like it's honestly, it's like the same teams. It's like watching the same team. It's like the Cardinals is a little bit of a lighter version of it, where I don't know. I think the Bengals defense is so bad that I don't know. It could be. I think Cardinals by a field goal.
Yeah, well, Nico, if you're home, take the over, my man. It'll help you. Jacksonville going to Indianapolis, huge AFC South matchup. Far more consequential, I think, for the Colts, but certainly a must-watch situation. -6.5 for the Jags visiting on the road. 47.5 is the over/under. -285. Definitely rolling with the Jags while they're hot. I love them covering. I love the over. I don't sense the trap because I think that Indy is just out of it.
I have the Colts at home. I think
Good,
I
you
think
good. I need some
I
contrary.
think Philip Rivers in the third game is comfortable enough now. And I would love to see him win just for the press conference. I think NFL is scripted and therefore they must have him win a game this season. But I also think winning a statement game like Denver, it's a little bit of a low, even though it's interdivision, so there's always that competition. I think, with the home crowd, Colts get out in the run game with play action, also with Pierce and Pittman and all those boys down running down the field. I see the Colts winning a field goal touchdown game.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting if Jacksonville loses and Houston wins. I think that's
Yes,
very interesting.
huge.
Very interesting. Um, well, speaking of two awful teams that have made a little bit of headway for what it's worth, New Orleans Saints going into Tennessee. God damn it, this thing stinks. -2.5 for New Orleans on the road. In shot, we trust. 39.5 is the over-under, -148. I'm just going to take New Orleans because fuck it. I don't care.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I do think that they
Better
showed us
defense,
something
better
the past
defense.
few weeks, though.
They're definitely playing really well. They have a good defense. Like this team, it's 5-10, but I like what Kellen Moore is doing, and they just need now the right people in place. They just don't have enough talent, but like schematically, they're playing very sound football. So I
Yeah.
like them against a horrible Titans team.
Yeah. And I'm not going to put too much stock in Tennessee knocking off KC. Definitely not going there.
Yeah,
I
no, there's a
think New
third string
Orleans.
quarterback.
Yeah, I think this is legitimately New Orleans figuring things out late in the year when games are inconsequential, but for the sake of growth, they're playing for Kellen Moore.
Yeah, and I think listen, if you win the last two and you finish 7-10 in your first year, that's good compared of what this team actually is.
Yeah. Um, the worst teams in the NFC and the AFC are playing this week, folks. And Alex Young is not here to face the noise with this
The
Alex.
toilet bowl.
The toilet ball, baby. Yep. In Las Vegas, possibly the most unwatchable game of the year will be taking place at 4:05 p.m. Eastern. New York Giants coming into Vegas. We are favored by 1.5. I don't. That'll be the last time this year. Over under is 41.5. -125 is the over. Is the money line. I love the over here because I think whenever there's two bad teams, it's a demolition. It's a demolition crew. I think both teams put up points. But I'm going to take my team just for the sake of taking my team, and that's really that.
I'm going to take the Giants by a touchdown for the sole reason I want you guys to get the number one pick so you can get a quarterback.
Fair enough. Fair enough. 425, we got a huge matchup. Philadelphia Eagles going up to Buffalo. -1.5 is the favorite there for the Bills. 43.5 is the over-under, and -122 is the money line. Boy, this is a very important game across the board. Not necessarily for Philadelphia. They've already clinched, but I think for both teams to feel good about themselves going into the
Yeah.
playoffs, this is a real morale. This is a real inertia game. But I love Buffalo at home. I'm taking them by a field goal, so I think that they cover. And I actually like the under here. I think, weather conditions, we know it's going to snow on Saturday night. Don't know what the situation is going to be like up there in Buffalo Sunday, but I'm going to take Buffalo by a field goal and taking the under.
Yeah, I think Buffalo absolutely routs them. I think the Eagles are phonies this year. I see a 2-touchdown win by Buffalo in the snow. Merry Christmas. Jalen Hurts cries in the third quarter. Go pack home and go home.
Oh, geez, you're just taking a huge ropey piss.
Yeah. I think this is going to be a demoralizing loss for them.
You're just taking out the pincushion. You just vendetta, just whatever you can get.
Oh, I hate that team so much.
Dear God.
Yeah.
Well, Sunday night we got a good one. Two playoff teams that again may show up down the road in the NFC. Chicago Bears going on the road to visit the San Francisco 49ers. Right now it's 3-point favorites at home for the 49ers. 52.5 is the over under, and -166 is the money line. Brian, I'm going to switch it up here. I'm going to give you the floor. What are your thoughts on this game?
I like San Fran by a touchdown here. I just think they're rolling hot. And I think that Chicago is riding by the high right now after that Packers win. And I see them coming down now in this game. And just San Francisco is just playing sound quality, smash mouth football. I think CMC has his breakout game and he gets the 1,000. He only needs, I think, 150 receiving yards, and that's my prop bet for the week. CMC for 5 catches, a buck 50 and a touchdown.
I love it. I love it. I'm taking San Francisco here. I think that the Bears, they're hot, but I think the only team hotter right now with the things that they have inherited is San Francisco. I think they're playing for pride. I believe it's their last game at home for the year.
Yes.
So they're going to be playing for that home crowd. I think this is a monster CMC game. And I don't know. I just roll with San Fran because I'm rolling with them.
I really like them this year. I can't believe I'm saying it as a Dallas fan, but I don't know. They're getting healthy. They're playing better. Robert Saleh should be up for assistant of the year. The way he's commanding, like this team, if they win the division, which they still can, I think it's going to be a very hard time for anyone coming in.
Yeah, I can't quite get there with the division. That's a long shot, but I think that no matter who they face in the playoffs, you don't want to face them as a wild card.
No.
That's for damn sure. They have playoff pedigree. They have championship pedigree with Shanahan showing up there in the Super Bowl multiple times. I don't want to face them, healthy or not. Yeah, they're
so they have to win out, beat the Bears and the Seahawks, and have the Seahawks lose at least one game.
Yeah. So it's really possible.
They just have to win out. That's it. Because the one game is the Seattle win. So if they just win out, which I could see it doing.
It's true. It's wild, yeah. I mean, and you may get it early because they may lose to Carolina.
Yeah. And they have the chance, and they have the tiebreakers where they actually can get the number 1 seed.
That's insane. If you were to tell me that after 6 weeks with the injuries they had in the first half of the season, I mean, my God, that would be impressive.
Yeah, since we're on the topic, let me read it. So it's what's the actual?
Sure.
Let me see here, because that's something. How to clinch 1 seed? How to clinch number 1 seed?
While you're pulling that up, I just want to say to our audience too, definitely continue to keep watching for us as we go into the playoffs. We're going to be dropping a lot of content, a lot of teasers. We're going to be putting up some cool meme reels and some shit talking. So get in the discussion, drop some stuff in the chat, and make sure to like and subscribe because we always appreciate your input.
Yeah, they just have to win out. They have to win out, and I think the Rams and Seattle have to lose a game.
Damn. That's crazy.
It's actually really close.
It didn't feel like that way even a week ago.
Yeah, listen, the Seattle, it's been a really interesting season because think about it. Seattle's 12-3, and then the Rams and 49ers 11-4.
Jeez.
And they have the tiebreaker with the Rams. So if they win out and Seattle loses one game, they have the tiebreaker with Seattle and the Rams.
It feels like the NFC North of last year.
I think it's going to happen. I'm just looking at it. I see it happen. Because the Rams have no chance now. They play in Atlanta and then another in Arizona. They'll beat both them, and it still doesn't matter. They don't control it now.
Yeah. Well, that's a good intro. That's a good segue into our final game of Week 17. Rams going into Atlanta on the road. Minus 7.5 are the Rams on the road. 49.5 is the over/under, and minus 440 is the money line. I'll throw it back to you since we're on the topic. What are you doing here?
Outright win by 10. I just want to see Kirk Cousins. I want to see Kirk Cousins and Kyle Pitts go crazy, and Matt Stafford and the boys still win. That's an enjoyable game for me. Yeah.
Damn. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I'm kind of with you. I just think, I always want to see some love from Pitts and from Cousins, and I want a healthy dose of Bijan too. But the Rams are just, they're still my Super Bowl favorite for the NFC, and I think that they're gonna bounce back in a big way.
Yeah,
I think they at least cover, and I'll take the over too.
Yeah, I agree. I take it.
Well, that about wraps it up for this week on Yards After the Catch. Thank you, Brian. Shout out to
anytime.
Home. Merry Christmas to everybody, and happy Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and all that wonderful stuff.
Enjoy all of them.
Yeah, appreciate all of it. We appreciate you guys. We're excited to bring you one more episode before the end of the year. And we're excited to kick off some playoff picture football in January of 2026. So thank
Yeah,
you all. Catch you next time. Peace.
you could.